Okay. All right, family, check back on in. Okay, I think they blocked it. Okay, they didn't block the video, but I'm glad I restarted. So we kind of did, you'll hear the title as a smokescreen, because whenever they do that, they've never done that online before. Big up to everyone joining in the house. Please put a like on the video as you step in the door. You know, it makes it a little suspect when they gave me a warning, but the title, I think, was causing problems. So this title is called Braziers or Demonic. We'll throw them all off. We're burning bras tonight. So braziers are demonic. I don't know that they'll really find that appeasing. So this way, they just think we're talking about bras. Full moon in the house. Listen, there's a full moon in Aries. They trying to start a war up in this piece. Burning bras tonight, YouTube. What you think about that? You gonna try to block me? See, if I start taking off my bra and burning it, I'll probably be banned from YouTube for life. You want to get a lifetime banning from YouTube? I'll take my bra off live and just burn it. Oh, that would be hilarious. Anyway, so join on in. The conversation is a follow-up on Archons, Archon pandemic. I think the name actually caused a little more ripple. So rather than me even have the name, let's just call it Braziers burning. What I call it, Braziers or demonic. Okay, so earlier, for those who joining a little late, I took off a video. I had my little one's picture in it. I didn't want her on the screen. So, narcopocalypse. Exactly, Amy. So let's start with the conversation about the Archons. Now, for those who are unaware of what Archons are like a parasitic type of energy vampires that coexist in 4D. They basically kind of are responsible for creating the structure of the matrix, okay? But how they're able to survive and coexist beside us in another dimension, we're in 4D already. So that's why they're a little more insidious, you know, they're more insidious because we're kind of in their realm without our knowledge of them and they know about us. So what happens is that because they create the structural layout of the matrix, their way that they feed is through our energy, and they tend to be very diabolical in how they will create a chaotic type of mindset. So they're able to get into your mind a little bit. They're parasitic. If you are, it doesn't seem like it matters anymore because I noticed that we've been overrun with Archons for the past 2 weeks since the collapse, but also because we're in occult month, which is October, which is a harvest month, but it's also a hunter's month. So it's a hunters and harvest, okay? So we just have the hunter's full moon in Aries. Aries is a war type of energy, okay? Aries is a directive fire sign. And because of that, you have an energy that kind of drives through the month of October, leading into All Hallows Eve. We have a wonderful galactic setup where we're closest to the Van Allen belt. We hit the center. I think Jupiter hits the center. So it's a galactic monumental moment at the end of the month. And as you know, most of the occultists, this is a time that children are kidnapped or taken for harvesting the day after Hallows Eve. So I tell us all to keep our children very close during this occultist time. This is what they do, especially if they are, 2,100 children were rescued from the underground bases in California. This is what I'm talking to. Wait, while they had the power outages, listen, family, we did our shield, and I say we take full responsibility for some of that protective member we added, tethered or imprisoned. And I think that helped with the energies to free up our wonderful children that are being taken or, you know, kept hostage. So big up to everyone who partook in the wonderful mantra we do the 13th, which is for the betterment of the planet, the children, the twin flames, for everything basically that's healthy. Okay, so it's beautiful. I'm grateful to hear that, and I want to hear more of that. I will accept hearing more of for more of those rings being busted and children being released safely and being able to have come out alive. I would accept that. Okay, so the Archons are responsible for the energetic layout of the matrix. Now, what's happened since this month, and we discussed this, for anyone joined earlier, hold on. Yes, they can jump from person to person, but they really get in your head. That's how they're parasitic, like they get in your mind space. So they're mindscape hackers. I love this. This is my treat, family. This is my treat. I love this. I don't know if anyone's tried this. It's like, it's an infusion of maple, because I'm allergic to coconut, so I need electrolytes in certain ways. So it has electrolytes, maple, and a little citrus, and it's so good. They charge you so much for this, I'm gonna make it. Sometimes when they charge you things like that, it tastes so good. I don't know if mine will taste quite as yummy. Who wears Libra scales just wears cupless bras? Y'all still talking about the bras? Okay, so they attach to your dreams. They also attach to your dream state. So I was talking about it on the other video. A lot of people are having dreams about coexisting and having sexual liaisons with celebrities. Now, celebrities who've taken the blood oath, which most of them have, not all. Let me state this again. Most celebrities, some athletes, not all, take the blood oath. When they take the blood oath, they're basically selling an aspect of their soul, imprint, zest, to the demonic realms, okay? So a lot of times you won't have dreams about them unless you were basically in the same energetic field as them, or your lineage. You have the same you share same lineage, okay? Which is plausible. All right. So that being said, is a lot of people are having dreams about having relationships, sexual relationships with celebrities. A lot of people are having weird dreams of having things shapeshift in front of them, changing in front of them, to coexist and partake with them. I noticed that the last 2 days, as clear as I am, I noticed that I was getting negative thought forms that were coming outside of myself, and I hadn't had that for years. I haven't had really negative thought forms like that from like maybe over 12, 13 years ago. I mean, when I had them, I haven't had that for a while because my mind is pretty strong. But the last 2 days, and it could be the phase of the moon too, that big hunter moon, it could actually allow for that. But I personally know that the veil is gone. Since we collapsed timelines, the veil is totally dissipated. That is why when I saw my father and uncle sitting right there with me, I knew at that point that we weren't being separated anymore. There weren't any boundaries between the different realms. Now, the realms are not only the spiritual realm where some of the incarnates and the relatives that have passed, your kin that have passed, the transcended ones. We also have, because there isn't any veil, the realms of the others, which are, and I talked about that. Remember, I got an email from myself, the others. If you haven't got a chance to watch that movie, make sure that you watch the movie, The Others. It gives a better concept of what the aspects of our other versions of ourselves in various timelines, how we coexist. Remember, we're collapsing on top of one another, and we have to take in consideration that collapse may not be as neat and clean, meaning that we may overlap a little bit and may even have the others, like we have a concept of the others. Especially if they're heightened, because remember, different versions of ourselves can be heightened, they could be lower in vibration. So the higher tier versions of yourself who are much more spiritually astute, I told you I heard a show where I sounded like myself, but I sounded much more intellectually astounded to myself. It could be me, but I sounded like a better, higher version of Flurrum. Okay, so the others, we are having interaction with the other timelines in much more of a cohesive way. Remember the movie I told you to watch? What was the movie? I remember the guy. Remember we were talking about the guy who was visited by his future self, and then you saw the Saturnian. What movie was that again? I forgot that one. I had everybody watch it. What was the name of it again? Do you guys remember? No, it wasn't Gemini Man. I just saw Gemini Man. Alien Code. Thank you, Beauty. Alien Code. Thank you, Empirical and Lenice. Yes, it was Alien Code. Remember when he met with the Centaurian, and the Centaurian asked him, what would you do any different if you knew what we were and what this was? And he actually went back saw a version of himself and contacted himself via. It's interesting that I didn't even remember that part until I just thought about the movie. He actually emailed himself. Remember? He emailed himself. And it's interesting, I got myself, a version of myself that contacted, and I coded things to myself. So some people are actually, it's not just me, some people are actually getting in contact, or the others are getting in contact with you in very weird ways. Some people may say they even see a doppelganger that they heard or saw that was you. So it is the timeline collapsing along with a dissipated veil, along with the fact that we have a magnetic field that is being hampered because we're going through a pole shift, which is slowing down the rotation of the planet, which is disallowing for the gravitational pull to keep the hologram up. Okay, you take that all in consideration, we have a goulash, a perfect goulash that is allowing for, interaction with the others, but also interaction with versions of ourselves. Okay, so that being said, the archons are now overwhelming, and basically it's like a pandemic going on with the archons. They are in a war to take over your minds. And I shared on the other video that one of my sea stars, big up to my sea star, she shared with me that I shared with you last week that some of the nistas were smoking or eating edibles and getting infiltrated by entities walking in them, walk-ins, trying to come into their bodies. But I also shared with you that my nista, my homie, hadn't been drinking, and she went out to just have dinner, and they offered her a free cup of, vodka. And when you're in Brazil, sometimes they'll offer you stuff like that, free vodka with like honey. They have infused honey. And as soon as she took it, she hadn't been drinking or anything. It was just like a shot, very small shot. Something entered, and she said she walked and she felt something enter into her, like a whoosh. And then she heard the ringing in the ears like bells. Was it her? It was the other Nista who said she heard bells. That two of the Nistas also said they heard bells when those things entered them, like music. Okay? But she said she felt it, and then she got a huge headache. And then she had weird dreams that she couldn't recollect. And she's a dream, she's a dream person. She's a dreamer. So she felt something, mind you, it being that easy for these things to permeate into people, that's telling you that we're coexisting now with too many different things that are hampering our immune system and our spiritual immune system, which is your auric field, your auric field, which basically should be nice and tight and closed and shielded. But when you're drinking wine and spirits of any sort, it's leaving you susceptible, especially when we don't have a veil. Now, this is a big month. It is an astrological month. It is a month that has always been denoted to spirits coming onto the earth plane at a time. That's why we created Hallows Eve, because we gave a way for spirits to interact with people without being noticed by wearing costumes. So everyone looked like a ghost or a goblin or a spirit. We look different. So a ghost or a being could walk into our plane of existence very comfortably on Hallows Eve without being noticed or called out. Okay? It's very important. So, let me state this. I'm going to put a PSI on the video, on my platform, okay? Please, if you come in the house, please put a like on the video when you come in. I'm going to put a PSA because I noticed that there's a certain type of being that does come from other platforms that comes to our wonderful, cohesive platform. And one thing I noticed is that, listen, if you consider me telling you or sharing with you that eating genetically homogenized food could alter your very DNA and make you susceptible to a hampered immune system and susceptible to disease, then that isn't putting fear in you. That is giving you to do things that are positive. If I tell you that there are pedophiles out there that may be looking for a specific type of child based on genome and blood type or a holiday, and it is necessary for you just to keep a bird's eye view on your children more, that isn't putting fear in you. That is giving you fair warning that something could happen, and it's letting you know that there are things outside of yourself that may cause harm to you or your family. Okay? Me expressing to you that there is a particular point of doing certain ritualistic type of channeling or meditation in groups can allow for forms of jumping, body jumping, and placing entities jumping bodies based on you sitting in a room of strangers that you aren't knowing, and it could possibly leave you susceptible for infiltration. That isn't putting fear in you. That's giving you that's giving you a heads up. Now, there are beings that, and I know they're agent-like, or they're infested by, caps on their consciousness. They will come here and say that I am promoting fear. There isn't ever a time that this platform will ever tell you to be fearful. I am empowering you with knowledge. Every time my mother shared with me things that would help me to guard myself, shield myself, let me know of the world, what was necessary for me to do to make it better, for me to engage with strangers, that is only to empower me so that I have a knowledge, a pre-knowledge of something that could intend to harm me, so I make sure I keep myself safe. I'm getting quite annoyed with certain aspects of people coming from other platforms where they're dealing with fear, or they're dealing in the love and light community where they're so far detached from realistic worlds that if you even say boo to them, they'll call you a fearmonger. Or if you tell them that channeling is allowing for beings. There was one young lady who, I had a conversation with her, and it was perturbing because she kept bringing up my children, and you know how I am. But she kept mentioning how channeling Jesus Christ, they like to channel Jesus. Now, first of all, if you're channeling any being that is telling you that they're Jesus, I already question your own sanity and your peace and your conscious state of being. Okay, number one, Jesus isn't a person, it is a conscious state. It is Christ consciousness. It is a energy. It isn't necessarily a person. So when someone tells me that I am causing fear about channeling, when they know people who channel and that's what they like, listen, if you love listening to channelers, I won't ever demonize them. I'm talking about from my perspective and what I know to be. If you are a healthy person and you're heightened in awareness, there isn't any reason why you allow an entity to enter you to tell you what you should already know if you've done the work and you are healthy in your own conscious state of being. Okay? So channeling is, for me, it's what I perceive as people who aren't quite in knowing and in heightened awareness that are always outsourcing to others because they aren't confident about the intel that's coming from the genetic sequencing that would allow for that type of information if they kept just rising up to the occasion. Listen, you don't get codons released from sitting down meditating. You don't get codons released from just doing one thing. It's several modalities that would allow for certain bits of frequencies to be released, to be absorbed and acknowledged. Okay? So eating well, sitting in quiet space, yes. Sitting in quiet space, meditating on your own, yes. What else? Coexisting, listening to music that is feeding your soul, engage with positive people outside of yours. It's several different modalities. It's not just one. Okay, so that would allow for aspects of yourself, because remember, in order to get intel that matches the energy of the type of being that would have that kind of information within your genomes, you have to match their frequency. So if we're dark and we're still struggling with ego and we're still engaged in wine and spirits, that intel can't be released because we aren't matching the ancestors' frequency that had that kind of expression of enlightenment. So when we raise to the occasion and we basically start to supersede our limitations, then codons are released within your DNA, and then you have a knowing. So when people are always channeling, they're basically scapegoating and going past past go illegally and going to others that they can't vet out, because you can't vet out what's on the other side. You can have a demon sound like Jesus Christ on the phone all day. They know what weaknesses humans have. They know how easy it is to get over on people. So you don't know who's on the other line. You can say all day, oh, I feel confident. Yeah, they can make you feel good too. The devil, first of all, the best poison tastes sweet, right? You know that cyanide tastes sweet. It tastes like candy. When you give cyanide to someone, it tastes sweet first. So do know that you aren't able to discern things based on feelings because you can't vet out other beings that are superseding your conscious state of being. The only thing you can do is vet out yourself. The only thing you could do is work on yourself. So this is what I suggest. I'm not demonizing channelers, but what I'm saying is that I see their consciousness as a stultified point because they aren't in heightened self-awareness. If you're in heightened self-awareness, you collect your DNA. I come from the original mitochondriac on this planet. My DNA goes so far, I have every ancestor. I can access reference points of each ancestor if I match their frequency. So what I do is I clean up my diet, I do things that are healthy, I match the frequency of the intel that I desire, and then when I get there, I uncap it, and then I release that information and I gain it. I'm not going to Jesus Christ, I'm not going to Ashkabaka, or Dukabuka, or Hikabika, or all these phantasmic names of beings that you can't even vet out. That's all I'm saying, okay? So I'm not a fan of channeling. If you do it, if you listen to it, by all means, I say everybody has free will choice on this planet, but I know who and what people are based on the work that they do for themselves. If you take a cheat sheet and you're superseding your level of consciousness by taking shrooms and trying to bypass the normal ascension process, then there's going to be a consequence to it. Okay, that's just my take. I said kookabuka. So if you come to my channel and you feel that I am causing you fear and anxiety, let me be the first to say, I am not for you. I'm just not your cup of tea, and that's okay. There are 50 million other YouTubers that are phenomenal at channeling, at reading cards, doing, all kinds of, whatever they do. There's a whole bunch of there's so many YouTubers. I'm just not your cup of tea. If you don't like me, don't write a whole paragraph about why you don't like me. If you think I'm fear-mongering, check on over to Cucamonga, and they will tell you everything channeling, from Jesus Christ to Moses to Joan of Arc, whatever, and go with them. That's it. There isn't any hate and there isn't any resentment towards that. I just think a lot of times many of the people have too much bias, or they have an issue with me on a visual level, and they take these little insidious undertones of attacks as a way to justify they're not liking me. You may not just like me visually. You may not. You may think I'm too busty, I'm too chunky, I'm too brown, I'm too copper, I'm too verbally, keeping it too real. That's okay. I had to say that because I'm getting people from other platforms, and I'm not their cup of tea, but they want my information. So they want to parasite off of the information, but they don't like how it comes. So if you don't like the deliverance, there are other people, and you will get the intel from them. Okay? I'm just who I am. And let me just give you a reminder. I am Fleur Broom. I am Del Goddess. I am Del Iduramo Plaisir from Mount Vernon, New York. I am a contactee and a mother. I never say that I'm anything else. I just happen to be a regular person sharing my intel on YouTube, okay? If that is something that bothers you, please kindly leave stage left. And we won't have a problem with it, but please refrain from leaving books. And I respond once in a while when I think it's insidious, but I won't be responding to some of these characters online, and probably just agent-based too, or people who are capped in consciousness. Empty seaters. Okay, can't stop, won't stop. All right, so I'm over that. Let's get into our conversation. So we have archonic infiltration. Okay, we have archon infiltration on a heightened level right now, and we also talked about modalities that would allow for some of the muting. So we'll kind of get into that a little bit. We talked about keeping electronics out of your room because AI telepathically is communicating with people, utilizing your bed springs because springs are a catalyst for energy. Remember, springs help to, springs bring electricity up, right? So if you're sleeping on bed springs and then you have your electronics on the bed, you're basically an open forum for interaction, AI interaction with you, utilizing the springs. And remember, you're water, so you have a conduit, and basically you're interfacing with your technology, okay? Tesla coils, yes. So make sure that if you have your phones and stuff, take them out your room at night, okay? Just take them out your room at night and leave them outside. If you have an alarm, I have an old-fashioned alarm, those old-fashioned alarm clocks, or you can hear your alarm sometimes from the living room or from your bathroom, okay? That's the first thing. keeping electronics away from you as much as possible. Okay. Another thing we talked about is the more mundane, or I consider to be the older modalities that we used to use when we were living in 3D alone. Most of us have superseded the level of 3D. We're engaging with beings that use sonic and light technology in order to bypass our cerebral cortex to manipulate us. So because of that, we have to upgrade our modalities. We can't, Sage isn't going to smudge away AI infiltration or archonic infiltration that's on 4D level. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to your food. The more that you're engaging in eating food that has metallics or genetically homogenized food, is the more likely you are allowing for a healthy, cohesive homeostasis of nanobots and nanotubes to replicate and to allow, again, interface with your electronics. Okay, so watching your food. I'm not saying you should eat, listen, I enjoy, like today, I had to do a sports event. So I was out doing sports and I brought my own seeds. I brought some pumpkin seeds. I like dried cherries. I put a little cayenne pepper in there because I love that kick. And I added some Himalaya pink salt. That was my snack because my little person, they were honoring her. So what I do is I make sure I make my own snacks. They had other things there. But in order for me to preserve myself, especially my conscious state of being, I have a conference coming. I want to make sure that my mind is all righteous. I have to make sure that I'm not being incepted, because it's easy to incept people if they're always purchasing food. Okay? There isn't any vetting out where something comes from unless you create it yourself. Okay? So I do a little bit of that when I'm out, and I did this. I do like my little waters when I go and I have stuff out, a little chlorophyll in my water a lot of time, or I'll carry an orange with me, like I'm about to eat now, like orange. I wanted to show you something that's fantastic, and it just came today. Now, this is something I was using years ago when the girls were really little, and I used the tincture, and they didn't mind it so much, but I use this now. Thuja is wonderful, and they actually have the homeopathic version of Thuja. Okay, so Thuja is it's almost like from a pine tree. That's how Thuja has like a green kind of leaf. Thuja is great for muting chemtrail infestation. Okay, I used Thuja in my little girls' juices when they were little. Just a little 2 or 3 drops of the wild crafted Thuja to disallow for them to be, their lungs to be, having so much mucus or a buildup of mucus. It kind of dissipates that. It's also good for people who have warts and things like that. People suffering from that. So I always say you get Thuja. Thuja is amazing. Okay, Thuja is THUGA, Occidentals. So Occidentals, OCCIDENTALIS. Okay, this is really good for yourself and the little ones. Thuja is THUGA. Okay, and this is again something that I use to mute the chemtrails. And I use it with my little ones when they were little, okay? But because they're bigger now, I used to use the wild crafted Thuja. I still have the wild crafted. It has a nice little taste. It kind of tastes like a pine needles. You ever had pine needles? Some people suffer from warts. Some people have warts, okay? There are people who have warts, and it's also good for that. I'm giving you some of the other treatments for it. It's great for getting rid of mucus buildup. Okay, Thuja Occidentals. Thank you, Stick. I just wanted to give this to all the mommy. I'm big on giving mommies alternatives. I'm a mommy, so I give this to you a lot of times. Adults, we use it. We know to use it, and this is great for us. But the little ones also need it. No, you don't need this. This kind of dissipates underneath the tongue. These are really good. This one is, my eyes, I ordered this, 200 CK. Okay, and always get the I love to use boron because it's the homeopathic version. It works very cohesive with your body. It allows your body to heal itself. Okay, so Thuja. Oh, you have Thuja in your essential oils? It's wonderful. You should use it. You know who I learned that from years ago? Oh my gosh. I went to the lecture, the last lecture that Dr. Delbert Blair did in New York. I went to his last lecture there, and there was Oh gosh, what's his name? I want to give him props. He was the one who brought that up to me. Oh, I forgot. What's his name? Oh, I feel so bad. I'll remember it. I want to give him props. Okay. Um, he was wonderful. He mentioned this for dealing with chemtrails and kind of muting it, along with Bobby Hemmett, who said to burn eucalyptus in the house. So I have to give them. No, it wasn't Sebi. It was another guy. He's not as popular, but he makes these wonderful organites, these pyramid organites. He's amazing. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. When I remember his name, I want to give him again credit for really giving me some intel on that. So anyway, so one of the modalities that I brought up earlier in the other video, if you did not hear me, was you found it on Amazon. Amazon has everything. Okay. Jerry, thank you. You knew Divine Alchemy. Thank you, Jerry. What's Jerry's last name? Jerry. What's his last name? Jerry. I know it's Jerry because he's on my Facebook. What's Jerry's last name, Mama? Did you get it? When you get his last name, can you tell me what his last name? Okay. So another modality, Miller. Thank you, Jerry Miller. He's amazing. Amazing, amazing. He makes the most beautiful organites ever. I mean, if you want to go to the organite master, his are like beyond, like, it's like other galaxy kind of organites. It's like other dimensional, like other pre-permeated all kinds of times and space. Jerry Miller, big up to Jerry Miller. He doesn't probably realize he was the one who mentioned Thuja, and it was at a conference. It was so matter of fact. He mentioned that we were talking about chemtrails. I don't know if I asked the question or my girlfriend did, but he was the one who mentioned that. So big up to them. And this is over 12. When did I move to Florida? 2011. This was in 2011. You see how sometimes you hear things and you learn things from amazing. Hey, L. Summers. Yeah, it's Jerry Miller. Amazing people, and it held with me. Okay. So another modality that I talked about for Archonic, for anyone coming in the room, please put a like on the video if you're joining us this evening. I know that earlier, for those just stepping in, I know that earlier I had taken down a video. My little one was shown on camera, and as you know, I keep my children separate from anything I do. I don't think it's healthy to have them on social media, especially when they're so young, okay? This is something that mommy's choosing to do, but it isn't something that they choose to do. When they get older and they're conscious and they have their shields up nicely, then by all means, if they decide to do something like this, by all means, I would support as long as it's positive. So another modality we were talking about earlier was having, camphor. Camphor, I'm a big fan of camphor. I'm a Caribbean woman. Camphor is used a lot of times in Caribbean houses. Camphor is like a blue, I talked about this earlier, blue balls. They come in blue balls. You'll see them sometimes in Wiccan stores or metaphysics stores. They look like blue balls, like camphor. Or sometimes they come white. There's white camphor too. I prefer the blue, okay? It is a wonderful muter. So when you're having your dreamscape being perpetually bombarded by archons, I always disallow for any entities to attach by having camphor in distilled water, cleared water, pure water by the bed, okay? And you put the bowl next to your bed or you put it underneath your bed, okay? That disallows from things connecting to you perpetually, okay? So it's always nice to have camphor in the household. Also with babies, if you have a baby or if you're pregnant, we always say for pregnant women, it's very common for, especially on my island, for the women to have camphor around the cribs, camphor balls around the cribs. Or when the mother's sleeping, she always sleeps with blue camphor next to the bed. Okay, eucalyptus is amazing. Again, I always had eucalyptus burning when the little ones were little, especially when I was gardening all the time. I used to leave my doors open because butterflies. I just used to leave the house open all the time when I was living on a farm. I actually lived on a farm. I raised my little ones when they were little. I was a farmer, and I used to burn eucalyptus beautifully. And it would smell so amazing. So the girls would love it. No, I'm Martinican and Saint Lucian. Okay, I'm Francophonic. But my family had migrated from South America. So I'm what you consider to be I'm an indigenous, we're part Arawak, part Carib. And my family had migrated from South America into the Caribbean. And actually, we used to coexist there. So, and we're mixed with some of the Taino too. So many of the Caribbean people were a combination platter. We're mixed with the colonized people that come in, and some of the, I don't consider them to be the African diaspora, the diaspora of copper brown people that were already there and from the main part of Americas. But we're mixed with the indigenous in that arena, okay? So all of us, it doesn't matter if you're from Puerto Rico, if you're from Dominican Republic, you're from Haiti, you're from Guadeloupe, Dominica. We generally tend to have a lot of the same phenotypes and a lot of the same general disposition. If we're positive roots and negative roots, it depends. Haiti has a lot of negative roots, and so does Dominican Republic, which I learned about, and some of Jamaica, which is very interesting. I didn't know that they had as many negative roots in Jamaica and in Haiti and in Dominican Republic. Go figure that. So that was something I learned. Remember, I learned that on the show. Shalom. I learned that on the show a couple of years ago. I was excited to hear about the O negatives that were residing there. Okay, no wonder we have that Nega serpent connection over there. A lot of that connection over there. So eucalyptus is really good. I thank Bobby Hemmett for allowing me to have that information. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Omega. So Barbados. So I see Barbados. I see Haiti in the house. A lot of our island brethren. Okay. A lot of us, our family from also French Guiana, from Suriname, from Guyana, over in South America, Brazil. That's all the same arena. That's where my family actually originally migrated from. Okay. So we're talking about that, the Archon. So we're talking about leaving electronics outside of your bedroom. Okay. We're talking about putting little modalities around your bed when you're sleeping to disallow for entities to basically connect to you. We were also talking about the rattles for the babies, right? We were talking about the rattles that a lot of people use and didn't even know. The Celtics use the rattles. The Caribbean people use the rattle. Oh, no. The Moroccans are used in Central America. Where else are the Moroccans are used in West Africa? Okay, that clears babies. There's a reason why you have babies that have rattles, okay? It's very important for the rattles because it clears space. So, I always say to mommies or daddies or uncles, always rattle the baby before. Not rattle the baby herself or himself. I'm talking about a rattler, especially a natural rattle. I don't know where I had the most amazing rattle. My little girls probably took it. I had an amazing one I got in Chichen Itza. I was in Chichen Itza in Mexico, and I have a beautiful rattle, and I don't know where the little ones, the little ones my little ones like to go and take it and put it in special boxes. It's so cute. Okay, so you do that. The archons are in your mindscape. So this is another way that you can discern if it's your own thoughts and so on. Hopefully many of you are, the rattle actually clears the children. It clears the energy. Rattles clear energy. So when you shake it, I love the Celtics actually have the one that's like a drum. It goes like this. I think in some other countries they have it as well. The one with the drum, the little ball that goes like that and you go like this. I think the Celtics were the ones who had that. It clears the energy. Yeah, it's wonderful. So it's always nice to have. That's why it's good for the babies to have a rattle, but have a natural rattle, not the plastic ones. Get something that's natural. It's good for them to shake it, okay? What is it? Chimes are wonderful to keep around the house. I love chimes, okay? Drums are nice, nice consistent beat always helps. Drums can be chaotic if there isn't any rhythmic balance to it. So that being said, drums can cause chaos too. Chaotic drumming is a form of bringing in demons when you're doing cult rituals, right? Offbeat drums bring in demons, but on beats or faster beats, okay? So it depends. So be careful with the drums too, because non-cohesive drumming can cause imbalance in energies. What else is great? Okay. What else did we talk about? So when you're in the dreamscape, make sure, in order to be able to discern friend or foe, knowing your own mind. So if you're in a sexual liaison, right? I told you Trump came to me. I think I told you guys on the last one, Trump came to me in my dreamscape. And I was wondering why Trump was trying to portray. He didn't do anything crazy in the dreamscape. It was very odd. He was touching my hair. I could smell him. I could, I could see him as clear as day. It was like he was actually there. He was touching my hair and attempting to kiss me. I'm being honest, maybe I give too much information online, but I doubt I'm Trump's type. You never know, though. You never know. Someone said that to me. There was a guy who liked me a couple of years ago, and you would never know by the type of women that I always saw him with. But I was actually his type. He just ended up dating women that were just closer in his proximity. It was you never know, right, Marcus? You never know. So Trump was in my personal space, and it was interesting that I was just telling him, I was like, why are you here, and why are you trying to kiss me? And he said, I just think you're lovely. And I said, I understand that. I understand that. It wasn't anything disgusting or debaucherous. It was just interesting because there was a being that was put something in front of me in order to create a type of feeling. Now, I don't have negative feelings or positive feelings about Trump. You already know how I feel. I feel like Trump was required for many of you to wake up. Y'all didn't wake up until Trump came into power. Everybody was fast asleep when Obama was president. Trump came into power. I saw more people wake up during Trump's administration. I saw more people wake up during Trump's administration. I'm grateful. I told you, I made a whole video on it. Y'all needed to wake up because everybody thought it was all good in the hood until Trump made it into presidency. And then it was all positive though. As much as people complain about that man, he came into power and so many positive awakening came from it. So I'm okay with him being president. It's his sidekick that I would be concerned. Y'all want to impeach him? You better be careful about who his sidekick is. I think he's I think he is the epitome of Satan. What's the vice president's name? They were talking about impeaching. I said, you better leave Trump in there because he's got Satan. Pence. Pence will take down. You talk about wars, rumors of wars. There ain't gonna be rumors. Pence looks like he's just waiting. Pence is like that sidekick where he's just waiting for the president to go down. He's like, yeah, go down, Trump. When I take over, I'm gonna push the red button. Anyway, let me stop. So all this is saying, it's like your friend that's waiting for you to get thrown off of the, when you get homecoming queen and and the runner up is like, I hope she breaks her leg. Pence is waiting for Trump to not make it. What I'm saying is that I was having dreams about, I had dreams about Anita. Now, I have a thing for, I really like Anita's music. I know she's been taken over. Anita is a Brazilian. I don't know if many of you know us. Boa noite. Anybody here from Brazil? Many of my Brazilians knew who Anita is. Some of you younger people may know who Anita. I have a affinity for Anita. I do. I just, something about her is like I recognize her and know her. So she came into my dreamscape and she was really aggressive and she, you know her? How is she? Who said that? Broth, how do you know her? Yeah, Anita? You know Anita? Yeah, Anita. So I really like her music. She's saucy. She's very she reminds me of Creole because maybe my family migrated from that region. So it's just like a knowing. She's very saucy. But I know she's taking the blood oath or she's about to, I know, because when I know who she's talking to or interacting with, it's just a matter of time if it hasn't already. But she came into my dreamscape and she was aggressive. And, Fleuron is, no, I'm reading a message. And, Fleuron is, I got to use my verbiage properly. I appreciate our males. I appreciate interacting physically with males. I do appreciate a divine male mating. I that is my propensity. I just mate like that. So when she's coming to me aggressively as a female to female interaction, it's just very interesting because that, you have to take in consideration. That's when they work on you. Archons will work on you and try to break your boundaries. They'll try to step over your boundaries. So when, someone you admire, Like, it's like, let's say you as a man admire another man, and then you meet him for the first time, and he's all in your personal space. You know, you as a straight man, you would be, it's almost like they're trying to test your boundaries to see what you would accept. So Anita was in my dreamscape, you know, trying to ravish your flirbrune. And I was like, listen, this doesn't feel right. I'm not that kind, you know, in the dreamscape, I was like, why am I here? And I was looking around like, why would I be in this position with this young lady? And you know, you're seeing her real as, yeah, you're seeing her real as day. And I had to really, because I'm cognitive, I'm cognizant of my behavior. I'm lucid. I always lucid. I only lucid dream. I'm always conscious in my dreams. I've been like that for a while ago. Okay. No, if you're bisexual, it's different. But I'm saying for me, remember, they're coming to me. That isn't my propensity. So if they're coming to me and doing that with me, I have to question myself in the dreamscape because I'm conscious. I'm always lucid. So I knew it wasn't right. I wouldn't place myself. I wouldn't place myself in a position to be in that close proximity with her in that way. It doesn't matter how much I admire her. Remember, you know, like I said, I mate with males. Strictly males. I admire females, and I think they're beautiful. I think they can be darn white sexy, but it doesn't mean I would interact with them on a physical level. So it's interesting that a lot of people are having sexual dreams with celebrities, and that is that's an archonic infestation. The archons are infesting your, yeah, that's what I wanted to say, Susu, but I didn't want to say it out loud. They're actually infesting our dreamscape. So I wanted to say that to say is that I knew that that wasn't a behavioral pattern, even in a dream. In dreams, I do exactly what I would do in life. I do. My same behavioral patterns are showing up in my dreamscape. So if I have an aversion to coconut, I will avoid it in a dream. I will say, I won't have coconut. Like if someone serves me coconut drink or water, I'll say, sorry, I'm unable to drink that. I'll say that in my dream state because I'm lucid, okay? So that being said, I will avoid doing things like that even in my so-called dreamscape. I don't really dream like others. I lucid dream solely. Okay, so that being said, there's a lot of people having dreams with celebrities, and they aren't celebrities necessarily. They could be. Now, mind you, I don't want to take away that some of you are in frequency of some of the beings on the other side. We don't know what ties many of you have. We don't know because some people have ties with celebrities. They're actually linked with them. Like that's their crew, and etherically they meet up. That happens occasionally. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about them sending out mass signals that are infiltrating your dreamscape, and you are picking it up, and they're testing your boundaries to see if they can overtake you. So they're challenging your peace of mind. They're challenging your sexual boundaries, and they're doing it purposefully to see if they can infiltrate you. So be mindful of that, because I've gotten so many phone calls now of people having celebrities come in their dreamscape, or beings that are trying to, sexually accost them, challenge their who and what they would choose to do. It could be a number of things. Okay, so it seems like there's too many archons, and also we have a lot of walk-ins happening, a lot of possessions. So, and as I denoted before, as we talked about it before, I always say to everyone, make sure that you aren't giving your permission and your free will to anyone. You know, be careful when people sneeze and saying, you're welcome. You aren't welcome, okay? I always say peace, peace, peace. There isn't any welcoming anybody in my space. Be mind, because there are automatic responses that were created to make you permissible for infiltration. So every time you sneeze or somebody sneezes, you give them an automatic pass to come into your thing, or you give something to someone and they say, if you say thank you, their automatic response would be blank welcome. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with those, because that's also a way that they bypass your free will. It's bastardized. The English language is bastardized. It's better. I always say, if someone says thank you, I'll say my pleasure, right? Or I just say, zero problems. I try to make sure I match my words with my intent. Okay. Sneezing is fine. It's just what you say. If someone says bless you, I rebuke it because bless is be less. It's a 13, which is an exasperating. B is an exasperated 13. No, 13 is a amplifier. Okay, so B is a 13. So when someone says bless you, they're basically creating lessness in you. Okay, that's why people don't call themselves black. Black was assigned to people purposefully so that when you call yourself black, you're be lack. So anybody who automatically calls themselves black is already accepted that they are lacking something. Okay, you have to be very mindful of the language. Okay, that's why you hear me call people carbonated. I never call people, I call them by complexions. I say lunar, I say melanites, carbon people, copper people. I stay away from terms that I know have been demonized and infiltrated. Okay, there's a whole bunch of them. You just have to be careful. Because right now it seems like there's too much going on, and it's better to be mindful of how you engage with the public than, basically allow something to interact with you in a way that's unnecessary. Okay, we talked about welcome mats, disallowing welcome mats in your house. You put a welcome mat on your door, you basically welcome anything in. Oh, there's a troll. Their name is Troll. What is this? Oh, look at this. They get creative. Look at this one. Look at this one. I'm going to report you. Okay, let's do that first. Wow. Did you see the kind of beings that come on here? Where did they come from? I think they come from they're AI generated, right? And their name is Troll. And let me explain something, Mr. Troll. You need to properly pronounce it. It's called nega, okay? So it's Naga. Please properly call me. I do accept that label, nega. Please learn how to spell, because you mispronounce that, and that's usually when people are lesser in intelligence, they usually misspell it. So, lesser intelligent beings who are limited in consciousness and limited in aptitude, they aren't able to understand and understand what that term actually does. Oh, it returns again. Look at them. No, it's nega. You forgot the A. Welcome. Yeah, it's a bot. They sent it out. As soon as I start talking about they have a name called the Troll Returns Again. That's so clever though. How they do that so quickly? That's AI, right? Yeah, the English language is full of spells. That's why it's better to just disengage in speaking all the time. I do like there isn't anything to get. You make sure you aren't getting upset when people say things like that. And that's another thing that if I can give you any advice, stay away from being upset from people saying anything. How people feel about you has absolutely nothing to do with you. That has only to do with them, okay? And that absolutely isn't offensive. That's actually a compliment when you call somebody a nega. And every time you say it, you actually give people reminders in their DNA of who and what they are, okay? So it's actually beautiful. I just want them to spell it properly. Anyway, so let's see what else we were talking about. I think that's it. I wanted to kind of do that. I'm gonna go on Instagram so I can play my music, because I'm kind of in that saucy mood, and I want to talk about Braziers, because I guess if I labeled something, we're gonna talk about the downside of Braziers, and about really freeing our bosoms from the tyranny of Braziers. I think the patriarchy purposefully created bras to ruin our lives. So I'm gonna play my famous songs today. I'm feeling saucy. I'm a little sleepy, but I'm saucy tonight. How do you protect yourself traveling? Encase yourself in a bubble, a translucent bubble. Always travel with it's nice to travel with like a stone. A wonderful tourmaline or obsidian is nice to travel with. As you know, I wear the Hand of Fatima, which I resonate with that. The Hand of Fatima is one of my wonderful charms, and I always travel with it. And I do that for the little ones. Yeah, I'm gonna go get saucy on on Instagram because I want to play music, and they really piss me off when they don't let me play my songs. Flirt Run is all about music. I love music, and it makes me feel happy when I hear songs that remind me of different genres. And I think it's really disgusting how YouTube used to be such a wonderful open forum for us to express ourselves. They become like an automated bot system where, like, just, you know, did you guys see the video? My twin flame is such a jokester. I told him I'm not doing any video. He has these ASMR, what is it, ASMR? You guys call it ASMR? She's eating Birkenstocks. Did you see the girl? She's eating her Birkenstocks, and now she's dressed like that character, and she's eating a hand and an arm. He said when I eat, he said every time I eat on here, you guys are getting ASMR, or what do they call it? He said he likes to watch my video because I eat. My twin flame is a jokester. That's the only reason we love each other. I have to be with someone who has an amazing sense of humor. So anyway, if you're traveling, black obsidian, always wear an amulet, Hamza hand. Remember Hamza hand, right, family? Only certain people relate to the hand of Fatima. It may not resonate with everyone. It has to resonate with your genetics, okay? I have a relationship genetic-wise with the Hamza hand, the hand of Fatima. And remember, the hand of Fatima means different things. The hand up is for protection, hand down is for abundance. Okay, just remember that. Okay, so always make sure that when I was in Brazil, it was beautiful because they all had like the evil eye on. They were very knowledgeable on how to protect their energetic field, and it works. Okay, so I'm gonna go on Instagram and enjoy. I'm gonna do some ASMR. What is it called? ASMR. ASMR. I'm going to do some ASMR and play some saucy songs, and we're going to talk about burning the braziers and letting our bosoms be free and disallowing the patriarchy from telling us that our breasts are only for sexual interplay. There isn't anything wrong with you being a busty babs like myself, and I'm sick and tired of everyone complaining about my cleavage. I love the way that I'm shaped, and if it bothers you, you too can disallow yourself from being subscribed to me. Remember, I'm probably the only one who doesn't care about subscribers because I prefer people of the same frequency. How many numbers are here actually means zero because we only know that there's 144,000 souls on this planet. So the majority of people are empty seeders, reptilian shapeshifters, galactic, cloakers, and clones. So that being said, I already know that there's only a few of us that are in that wave of intel or consciousness that we can accept being in unity consciousness. So if you don't like my bosoms and you think that I'm just here sharing my bosoms with you for sexual, I don't know what kind of sickness. Like, do you not have people who have breasts in your family? Or balls? They probably watch Super Balls all day. They watch Super Balls, or they don't see anything wrong with men running around in spandex with their balls and their penises like up in your face and bending over their cavities and kicking a vagina through a square thing. They probably don't see anything wrong with that. They don't contact the NFL and complain about them showing their balls, but they will get mad at me for just having a little bit of skin showing. This is the craziness of the Matrix. Burn the bras. 2019, burn the bras. I'm about to go burn my bra on Instagram. How's my batteries? All right, y'all. My Instagram, can someone put my Instagram? It's Del Goddess Love. Mr. Corey likes to say it really cool. Mr. Corey calls me, he's like, Del Goddess Love. So it's DELL _, goddess, which is GHADDESS _ love. You're on 33%? See what I'm saying? And then we can't even plug on our phones because the radiation is off the charts. Bastards. Anyway, I'm going to get saucy on Instagram. You can join me. I'm going to go, I have my snacks. I have my oranges. I have some of these really weird, they don't taste like my Guinness. I like my Guinness better, but I have these. I'm going to do ASMR. What is it called? ASMR for my twin flame. So twin flame, if you're in here stalking me like you normally do, you can go and watch me do ASMR so you can obsess with me eating fruit. Like, you send me all these weird videos, creeper. ASMR is some kind of, I'm glad you don't know it, Mimi. I shouldn't even share it. ASMR is some weirdness. I've never seen anything like it. You ever see that crazy? Do you guys watch that? She's eating a Birkenstock, a cake Birkenstock. Did you ever see, like, she eats Lego, this one, and she goes like this. Hello, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna play it on Instagram for you guys so you can see. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch it on Instagram. Okay, so let's go reconvene. I'm gonna give you like 15 minutes. Go get your pajamas on. She's great. Hello. You're gonna watch. You're gonna see what my twin flame. This is what my twin flame sends me. You can judge him all the time because I said you're sick. I said, do you watch this? He thought it was funny. He said that I'm doing this when I eat for y'all. Sickos. Anyway, so we're gonna go to Instagram. I'm gonna give you guys like 15 minutes. Go. I'm gonna plug in my phone a little bit, and then we're gonna reconvene with some good music, some snacks, and we're gonna get into a conversation about burning bras and freeing the breast from the tyranny of oppression. All right. So I love you. Have a great evening and peace. See you in a little.